Hey Arjun, you said you were going to share that lesson on helping everybody make decisions to make more money.
Okay.
Let's do it now.
Okay. So let me collect my thoughts here for a second. All right. This is the lesson we were talking about. The lease on my Tesla. I have a Model S, and the lease is over, so I have to get a new car. And that's the car that I'm getting. That white one with the black wheels, the X. And I've been like freaking out for the last couple of weeks. And just to put this in perspective, first of all, the company is paying for the car. I'm not even paying for the car, but it's my company, so technically I'm paying for the car. But the point I'm making is, I've been freaking out for the last couple of weeks, and I've been like working on my mindset. Like, why is this? Why is this? Why is this? You know, personal growth has to precede professional growth. If you don't get clear on your money mindset, your mindset around money, you're going to have a horrible time charging what your business needs to charge, first of all. And you're going to have a really hard time going to the front of the line to make sure you get paid first, because you should always get paid first. You should have yourself on payroll, and you need to pay yourself first. But a lot of us, myself included us, we struggle with mindset ideas around money, and it really short circuits the process in some really bizarre ways. So just to put this in perspective, How to Manage a Small Law Firm will gross $10 million this year. We've actually already grossed almost $10 million, and it's only October, the end of October. Can I share our income? No? Okay. It's 7 figures. The price of the car is like a tiny little fraction of the monthly expenses of the business. It's just another, but here's the point. In doing this, I realized, and by the way, the price of the new car and the price of the old car that I'm turning in at the end of the lease is like almost the same. It's like a couple $100 a month difference. It's virtually no difference whatsoever. But I realized that I have a rule in my head. I have a rule that was given to me by my family somewhere, somehow. Number one, I have a rule about how only stupid people get new cars. That's not true. It makes a lot more sense to lease a car than to buy a car, and you have to lease a new car. So that's a very blue-collar idea. That's a rule that makes sense if you're a blue-collar worker, that you don't get a new car. But if you're an entrepreneur, it makes a lot more sense to get a new car rather than shopping around and dealing with a used car. But I've got this rule in my head that just bangs around, and every time I'm not paying attention, it shakes loose and shakes me up. And then the second rule is, and this is the worst rule. This is the one that's the most arbitrary, that you got to be careful of. There's a dollar amount. There's a dollar amount that I have in my head. That's a rule that you don't spend more than this dollar amount for a car. Now here's the thing that's messed up. This dollar amount was established. This is embarrassing. This dollar amount was established in like the early 1990s. I've got this dollar amount that in the early 1990s, I remember as I was talking this through and figuring this out and working on my mindset, that there's this family rule that you don't spend more than, it's like a couple $100 on a car payment. But this is back in the early 1990s when gas was like 95 cents a gallon, and you know, a gallon of milk was whatever. I mean, but the point is, we carry around these arbitrary, and they're completely arbitrary rules that have no bearing on reality today, that mess us up. And if you don't get clear about it, first of all, if you don't realize that you're carrying around these rules, then you're like the sucker who sits down at the poker table and can't spot the sucker. You know, if you can't spot the sucker, it's you. You're the sucker if you don't know who the sucker is. So if you don't realize that you have these rules going around in your head around different things about money, then you are like it's almost like you're driving with your eyes closed. And I'm not talking about letting one of these things drive with autopilot that drives itself. I haven't tried that yet, but I will. you got to be aware that you have rules. At our last live quarterly meeting in October of this year, we had Aaron Brockovich as our keynote speaker. Yes, the Aaron Brockovich as our keynote speaker. And we did some mindset exercises to take inventory of the rules that we had in our heads. And we did a really great exercise that if you're a member, you can go to the membership site and watch this exercise if you missed it. And maybe if we get enough people who aren't members who are interested, we can maybe release, Allie, maybe we can release this one little clip from the live quarterly meeting.
Maybe in the app?
Maybe, yeah, we'll put it on the app. You can download the app. So we did this exercise where we had people with the $1 million and multi-million-dollar law firms helping the people with $0 to $250,000 law firms sort of identify and take inventory of the different rules that they had. And it was really fascinating to see what happened when, 50 or 100 people with million and multi-million dollar single shareholder small law firms are helping owners of $0 to $250,000 law firms spot their rules, right? And vice versa. It was really fascinating stuff. So anyway, that was the point. That was the lesson that I was telling Allie that I was going to share, and hopefully I've shared it. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say.